We are live, yay! Okay, cool. Let's just make sure I have the volume up. Great. Okay, so right now, for some of you, this is the actual AMP session. What we do is we do 2 calls about twice a month to check to see where you're at with the program. For people that are not members of the AMP membership, it's a way to kind of see how we do things behind the scenes. So for those of you who are members,
we are live, yay! Okay, cool. Let's just make sure I have the volume up. Great. Okay, so right now for
there we go. Sorry, I had another window up and we're getting me live in another channel. Okay, so where was I? I was going to give you guys a link for those who are members to go ahead on your screen. You'll see the group chat, and I put in a link for you guys to go ahead and log in. You already have the credentials, so go ahead and log in, and you can follow along as you see this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to screen share, and we're going to jump right on the membership site. Alrighty, here we go. Screen share. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so here we go. Now, this is the AMP membership site. And those of you that are members know that what we do on this side is that we give you weekly modules that you can follow along with, and we have particular themes that happen every month, or actually right now what's going on is that we have an ongoing theme. But before we get to that, I want to give you a quick tour of the AMP membership website. Here is our login page where we actually log in below, and this will give you a quick orientation on how to access all the features that are on the actual membership website. We are on the home page. The core sessions is a really cool page. No matter when you actually sign up, you're able to access any of the past modules just by scrolling down and looking at each month. So no matter when you subscribe, you're able to actually go into this, which is pretty cool. Actually, I believe what's really killer here is that we give you, I believe it was August, we went ahead and we did our flagship product, which was Digital Hustle and Glow. We gave you one of the last editions before we upgraded on our website, but you can access it here. You can actually go in and check it out. There's different modules, and really it's a resource library for those who just want to be able to amplify their cause. So if you are not exactly sure how to or which direction to go to and your business is feeling a little stagnant, you can just come and click away and you'll be able to access all those modules. In the resources area, the resource library, you're able to access any previous calls or guided meditations that we previously given away to actually a lot of our mentorship program, our Hustle and Glow mentorship program that actually launched in 2013. We have a lot of that stuff that's in the resource library. This is going to grow, and this will be something that you'll be able to access no matter when you actually start to sign up for it. Bonus content. Great stuff here. Now, this is the cool thing. I mean, honestly, I've had people sign on just for this. This is the bonus content for infographics. So if you want to learn how to create these really cool infographics, this is awesome. This is part of the membership site. Now, the membership price is $37 a month. So if you can imagine one website, one entrepreneurial hub, resource library, and all of these other tutorials only for $37 a month. I mean, this program here is worth, I actually was going to retail it at $297. It's here and free for you as you are a member. So check it out for sure. Community will bounce you right into the Facebook community. And support is a link that will auto-populate when you click on this to our email address. If you need any help, you can actually just pop in and ask for support. These are the modules for October, and we'll definitely dive into those in a second. AMP Backstage Pass is really cool. This is something that you can easily just click away and go to. There is a podcast area where this will actually direct you to iTunes to access all my past podcasts. And we're actually going to be starting a new series soon, which is pretty cool. Live group AMP sessions. And the live group AMP sessions are going to tell you when the next live AMP session is going to be. So this particular one is considered an AMP session. This is our group call, and we'll give you actually a link here to go to the event page, so that way you could schedule it on your Google Calendar or iCal or any other calendar that you have. Also here, it gives you the dates when our next one is and the topic. Pretty sweet. One-on-one sessions. If you feel like you need a little help and you're feeling a little stagnant or not even understanding where you should go next, which quite honestly, when I do anything in business, I feel a little stagnant from time to time. It's really great to bounce that feedback. And you can actually schedule some time with me. It's free. It's part of the membership. It's something that you'll definitely want to do. All you got to do is click here. It'll take you to my scheduler, and you'll be able to schedule some one-on-one time with me. This is kind of a cool thing. We might get a little feedback. Well, actually, we won't get feedback, so I'm not going to push play. But down here is where we actually have all of our past AMP sessions that are Google Hangouts. That's happening now, so I won't push play because then we'll get a lot of feedback. But all of the past ones are right here too. We have some of the topics here that we've had from September and August, so you can easily access those when you'd like. Now let's go ahead and get into it. Week 1, the art of the follow-up. Now, in September, let me go ahead and see if I can switch on over real quick. Okay, so in September, what happened is that we actually started the modules for freelancers, coaches, creative artists, and got them, their whole was all about how do you grab that desired client. We're going to be doing some work on the desired client in October in a really cool way. In September, what we did is we systemized exactly how to do it, how to get the consultation, how to talk to people, how to script it out if you need help. All of my insights have been really, really successful, and anywhere from a small business, from an e-commerce site, all the way to a personal one-on-one coaching thing. If you are on the online space, the cool thing about this particular program series that I'm doing, it really fits in all the parameters. It's a vast wide space for all people that can really connect with, right? So in October, what we're doing is we're kind of fine-tuning everything right now. So we're going to jump back on and talk a little bit about how you can do all of that really easily. So the follow-up part is part of the rollover from the September courses, where you sent the sales letter, you have people signing up for your service or product, but what if it's like dead? Crickets are happening. What do you do from there? So that's what week 1 is all about. We're talking about the art of the follow-up, so we're going to get to that right now. Let's go ahead and continue on to screen sharing. Here we are. Great. Okay. So week 1, the art of the follow-up. Let's go ahead and go into that module. And the cool thing about this is it really just opens up into like a blog sort of page. I love membership sites. They're so easy. They're so organized. And for me, for my business, just on the flip side, it's really cool to organize all of my material, all of my content. If I want to write a book, if I want to go ahead and share things with some private clients, I'm able to just throw them in here, which is pretty darn awesome. So here it is, week 1, the art of the follow-up, and this is for systems for smart creative artists, coaches, and freelancers. The art of the follow-up, and I put a little blurb in there, the thought of the follow-up with a potential client could put you in that space of fear and being perceived, as that push salesman. No one wants to be a car salesman, but you don't need to do that with a follow-up. Don't go there, darling. There's absolutely no point in being negative here. You are providing value, and as a part of your service, you are conveying what your features and benefits are to your product and your service. And that's basically what a follow-up is. It's nothing more than sharing and showing what your value is. And we're going to go ahead and hop on in to what that looks like. Ta-da! Okay, so now we're on the PDF. Really cool thing here, just a side note, guys, if you don't have Pages in your Mac, and this is for MacBook users or even, I believe it's on iPad, you can also go with Pages. It's such a cool app. And it's unlike any design feature or easy design element that I've ever used. And if you haven't noticed, I really like the visual part of everything. I think it's part of the story that I tell you. There's got to be a visual about it. So with my PDFs and with anything that I do in business, presentation's a big deal. So guys, if you haven't checked it out, totally check it out. It's definitely worth, I think it's only like 20 bucks or something like that, but it's definitely worth its weight in gold for sure. So here we go. We're going to go into confidence and features and benefits. So features and benefits, we talked a little bit about that in the past Google Hangout where we talked about features and benefits of anything. This is like the coolest thing, or for me anyway, I really get excited about it, but it's as I get excited about it, I get just as excited about my elevator pitch. So for some people, it can be a little, I'm not sure if I can do this. But features and benefits, if you picked up an inanimate object, I'm looking at my mouse right now, or maybe you had a stapler, you should be able to quickly check out and convey what those features and benefits to each and every thing. So a feature for a stapler would be like, it can open up and you can actually use it on a core board to staple something on the wall. And you can also close it together so it can staple a group of papers. That's a feature. The benefit is that you don't have to use or scramble for a paper clip, and you know for sure that this is going to anchor and bind the papers together. That's a benefit. So if you kind of figure out what your features and benefits are to a product or service, that's part of you conveying the message of why the value is there for your product or service. So I actually talk a little bit about that, and I think I demonstrated a Starbucks coffee cup that I had in my hand, and you can actually see that and access there if you guys are members. If not, you can actually check out my live sessions below on the event page, and you can click it out yourself. So we go into all of that, those features and benefits and how to do that and share that with your follow-up. How many emails are too many emails? It depends on the engagement. It is not a real answer here. If you have somebody going back and forth, that is great. That's pretty much a green light. Now, there are people, there is a flip side to that for sure. And what can happen is that you might have people that, I don't know why I want to say this, but it's probably a little negative, so whatever, right? But there are people out there that are truly fans, but they're a little negative, and they can be time and energy suckers a little bit, and they're so excited that they're engaging you, and they're typing away a lot of these emails, and they're really pushing forward that kind of aggression and disbelief that your product or service can actually help them. I learned how to deal with that as I learned how to deal with New Yorkers. I am from Los Angeles. I'm not passive. I'm probably an introvert. Like if you saw me on the street, I'd probably do one of these things. Hi, how are you? But when it comes to business, I'm a little different. With that said, what I meant was when I deal with New Yorkers is that you match the energy. So if there's an aggressive sort of thing, you need to punch back really great with wit, fact, and confidence, because they're very confident culture in New York. So you need to step up with that kind of energy. It's the same thing with a potential client that does something like that. You give them their 1-2 punch and then you move on. So if they're interested, they can contact you, but there's no way you should engage forever in trying to convince them to work with you, because already that's going to be a rub that you're not going to really want to do. You're not going to really want to work with that archetype anyway, if you're going to have to prove yourself over and over again. If they want results and solutions to their problem, and you have that to offer, that is good enough. There's also that gray area where you only can feel if you do want to work with that person or not. And that is the flip side of it. So you have to check out to see if that's something you want to do, or do you want to pass on. So that's my 2 cents. I've had both. I do like having, I love challenges and just in general with different types of personalities. So I welcome that type of person. However, it's not who I actively attract. So if you're really clear on your messaging, on your branding, on who you want to attract in, you're most likely to engage with those people. But that is definitely another different session, and we have covered those sessions in September. If you are a member, you can access those in your core sessions area of the actual website. So let's go ahead and go back to screen sharing. Okay, so following up with emails. You know, it definitely depends. If they're engaging a lot, you may have a bit of back and forth, which is great. You want to discern whether there's something that you want to invest yourself in replying. After 2 or 3, you'll know if they're keen or they're just pulling your leg, and definitely you'll want to be able to figure that out, and whatever works right for you, go ahead and do that. What I do to actually stop with all of that, I do a service-based product. So I usually give them a link that is limited time enrollment that gives them a special offering and a huge price difference if they enroll now. If they don't enroll, then what I do is that they have the higher offer a little later on, and then they can, you know, elect to enroll and connect with me and choose my services, or they can move on, which is fair enough. They can do either one. Usually the huge price difference gets them. And it's also great because what we're going to do in the month of October is we're going to show you how to use PayPal to get people to pay in advance. So this month, coming month, we're going to actually show you how to do that. Actually, I believe it's next week that we're going to be showing you how to do that. So planning is key. You definitely want to be able to keep touching, you know, keep that last touch option open with your clients, your desired client. See who initiates it, and you guys can just play it by ear and use your intuition. If you know, basically, you know, the intuition part, and the reason why I say intuition is because there's a little difference here. So when you are, how do I say this? When you are actually trying to get that desired client, the desired client is mostly, well, it's probably you. You're probably your own desired client. There's a reason why you're doing this product. You have a backstory on why you created the product in the first place. It's probably from personal experience. So with that said, you probably are your own desired client. So in terms of touching your client, making sure how many times you touch them through email or, you know, any sort of other media responses, you want to be able to do it as many times as you would like it. But if you felt like, oh, this person's like contacting me too much personally, then that's when you cut it off. It's pretty simple for sure. So you just got to check that out and see which one works for you. Okay, so don't be afraid of the phone call as well. You may have to call back a potential client, and that's totally okay and acceptable. People do like it. And even if they're on the fence, the phone call can really close the deal. So make sure that you do it. There's an awesome little dance break in each and every module, so take advantage of them. They're great, and they're really cool to kind of just shake things up and loosen your head and make sure that you get really, really creative. Lastly, my suggestion here is to create a similar outline for your sales cycle, like an editorial calendar. In here, I hyperlink past modules that actually show you how to do or create sales cycles and your marketing consultation schedule. It's really easy to be able to check that out each quarter. Like, oh yeah, my first quarter, I'm going to be promoting this. Second quarter is my book. Third quarter is my, my actual product. Fourth quarter, I'm going to go ahead and teach a group coaching class. So think about how you want to do that. You have to schedule it to get it done. And I invite you guys to connect with me to actually click and schedule some one-on-one time with me, or even go into the Facebook group and bounce the ideas off there. And then next week, we're actually going to talk about the desired client, which is that's probably one of the most exciting things that we can talk about, because I really, really like this part of the experience, or the coaching part of me. Like when I coach people about getting their desired client, it's pretty cool. So let's just jump into that right away. Alrighty. Systems for smart creative artists, coaches, and freelancers. The shift, the new desired client. The reason why I put the shift in there is because I wanted you guys to really shift the idea or the concept of what some people in marketing call a customer avatar. I actually call them a desired client, because I'm calling them out, literally. In the universe, I'm calling them out. They're my desired client. I actually even go as far as making a vision board of what my desired client looks like and feels like, and the kind of conversation I'm going to have with that person, and how we co-create something that's fantastic for them, that's result driven. So that's my version of it for sure. But let's go ahead and just jump into this. Come on. Oh no. Well, let's see if we can get this here. That's a bit of a, nothing like live hangouts, right? So it doesn't look like the links are working correctly. Oh no, they are. All right, my mouse is probably dying. Wow, that was a panicky moment for me. I was really panicked. Okay, systems for smart creative artists, coaches, and freelancers, and we're talking about the shift, the new desired clients. All right, so in the fast-paced world with a rapid changing marketplace, how do you position your business to move along progressively? Believe it or not, you already have the question covered. It's true, it's all internal. You have the answer that is sustaining your business, and your client already exists. This is not meant to be woo-woo, really. However, there is the truth in the law of attraction. Let me introduce you to your desired client. This is so great. So this is why I love Pages. Just look how sleek everything looks. I'm just so proud of it. I have a little quote from myself. I'm going to quote or read my own quote here. Before you hang out your shingle, you should fantasize about your desired client. Now, it's funny because I'm now in New Zealand, so that fantasize, that's the UK version. I promise you, I would not normally do that, but the autocorrect thing is probably killing me right now. But anyway, there you go. The UK people will totally get it, and the US, some of you probably think, what is wrong with her S's? But anyway, retune. Do you know your desired client? So I'm retuning your thought process here and your shift to think of actually who that person is. If you've done this before, this is great. You'll be surprised on how it may change a bit since your last customer avatar. When you sketched it out before, it may be different. It's always different for me. Every time I create a new product, or think of a book that I'm going to be writing, think of a product or service, it's always changing, and it's really good practice to keep this out. Now, this particular module here, I've given it to you where you can actually print out the pages, and you can right, you'll see why in a moment. Check out your client's competition. What is your unique value proposition? Think about it. What is the point of difference between you and the business next door? If you guys are the same type of business, what is your point of difference? You want to convey that in your value when you're talking or thinking about really honing in on your desired clients here. When you frame out your offering, it's important to connect with who it is for. How does it solve their problem? In this exercise, we will ask questions that are symbiotic to your offering. It may even change the framework of your offering, which it totally did with me, by the way. This is why you should always check in, create, and connect first with your desired client. Cool little dance break here so you guys can just click on in and dance away when you want to. These are great to just really break up the day. Honestly, about 2 o'clock, I need one. I need one bad just to kind of shake everything off, or even go for a walk outside, do a quick hike. It's amazing. It really helps center you. Okay, so here's the customer avatar, creating who you want to work with. And we go into a lot of questions of who they are, what generation are they, how are you going to add value to that particular generation? What is that client, that desired client, how are they even, what do they look like when they plan their future? Like really getting into the consumer mindset of who they are and what they want with your product or service. Now, this is the part I was talking about where you can actually print out and really dive in and write on paper, which I think is such, I especially like writing with pencil because you can hear the pencil, the lead, brush up against the paper, and it really puts you in sense of the here and now. So when you're writing this, I really recommend doing it with a brushy type implement. So brushy type. So anything that makes noise up against paper, if you have a particular pen, a ball roller that really makes noise. I know lead pencils always do that for me. Sometimes there's different ones. Some markers do as well. Whatever gets you in the sense of you and the paper alone, it's highly recommended that you do something like this. The more you put into this, the more you get out of it, really. So some questions. Why have they had enough of their current situation? So if they're finding you for as a photographer or a web designer, or in my case, a social media PR, why have they had enough of their situation? Why are they seeking you? Why do they need help? Also on the top, you're going to notice the female desired client. Maybe you're only working with females. That way you can, use 2 spaces if you need to. Or if it's also a male one, you can do the same. If they're both, you can do the same. I would encourage you to name them. I even put like a little field right here where you guys can put their names down. Name who it is. Name their age. Name, who it is. So if I'm working with Mariah, who is 45, I'm going to put Mariah 45 and James at 32, whatever. Just really personalize it. You can even go as far as doing that vision board like I talked about before. So think about why they want to work with you. If they can change anything they can about their current situation, what would it be? And they're not one and the same. They're totally different. So if they can change things, this is when they're like really almost purging out what is really bothering them, and they just really wish they had somebody who would A, B, and C. And they didn't really have to follow up with them, and they knew because they knew how to do D, E, F, and G. You know what I mean? So think about how they would process that. What do they fear? Now, this could be pretty deep and big here, but you can go with the general first touch thing. If they're touching you for the first time in products or services, what is their first touch fear, and why do they come to you in the first place? The second section of this, why are they feeling stuck? Most likely they're finding out your product or service, they're stuck in their current situation. Why are they feeling that way? What are the most common statements from your clients? So let's just say, for instance, that there is a nutrition client, and she's she's done the green juicing, she's done all of that. Maybe she's having skin problems, but it's reoccurring and she doesn't stick to her regimen long enough. It's not sustaining to do what she does. So that might be a reason why she's feeling stuck. And it could go on and on. It could be that they have a virtual assistant that's not really working out. How can you add the value in replace of that virtual assistant? So think about stuff like that. What are they interested in? This is so great because this is a way you can really resonate with that client if you can just name that out. Where do they live? This is great because it's going to help you with your demographic, just body altogether of what that person is going to look like and live. How old are they? Just really hone in on who they are. What is their living situation? If it's a millennial and he's 23 years old, how many flatmates does he have? What's his living situation? Is he in a basement? Maybe you're a copywriter for resumes. How are you going to really work with him is to really figure out what his mindset is, and think of it in terms of that way. What do they do during, what do their days look like during the week? So what do their weekdays look like? And really sculpt it out. Maybe your female avatar, desired client, goes to yoga after work. Maybe she runs to the grocery store and she heads home really quickly, and just relaxes and does it all again. Like, it might be mundane to us, but just really figure out what they're doing. What is your desired client doing during their weekday? It's really going to help you focus on your message. So I give you a lot of space to work in with there. What do their weekends look like? Now, this really will give you an insight to what type of character they are. This all shakes out in the end. You'll be able to actually write to them, write copy very effortlessly once you get all of this nailed out. Desire client insight. Insert questions below that are relevant to your offering below. So maybe you have some questions that you feel that you can add in here. So I gave you guys some space and an extra page or two to really write that in. All right, so invite you to connect with me at the end. And then next week, which I'm really excited about, is setting up your PayPal automated billing cycle, which is pretty cool. I'm going to show you step by step using my PayPal account to do that, which is pretty great. I love doing stuff like that, and it's really easy, especially if you're an introvert like me and you do not like knocking on someone's door or calling going, hey, yeah, I sent you an invoice, what happened? That's all out the door now because you're able to actually do that through an automated version with PayPal. So you are completely out of that conversation. It's an agreement they made up in the beginning to work with you, and that stuff is automated. So brilliant. Now, before we end, it's kind of a short call here, but before we end, I believe last week I wanted to show you guys, I'm not sure if I can do this. Let me see how I can do this. I wanted to show you some of my infographics that I created for the last quarter. And I could, looks like well, let's see. I think it's going to be a little tricky. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so here they are, but let me see what happens if I auto-populate it. Yeah, you guys don't see it. Okay. Let's see. I'll just share a few. Okay, so what we've talked about before with the cool thing about, one of the cool thing about creating infographics, whether it's for your Pinterest account or you're just sharing it through Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, is that when you do this, it really conveys a sense of who you are, what your brand is all about, what your belief system is all about, which I think really works well for me because, again, it's really about attracting the right people to come see you. So with that said, I'm going to show you a couple of some of the infographics that I created, just a few of them. And October is one of the slowest sales cycles in retail. This is a time when you want to keep putting stuff out that really shows who you are. Okay, so let's go ahead and share a couple of them. So this is one that this is one of my favorite quotes from Gloria Steinem. The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. So I really enjoyed creating something like that with that kind of image. Let's see here. Let's get another one here for you. I've yet to put photo credits below, but I will. Women are the largest untapped reservoir of talent in the world, and it's so true. I love that quote. Let's see here. Let's show another one. Okay. Oh, I love this one. This is a Diane von Furstenberg quote. Here we go. Attitude is everything. It's so true. You can bring the room up or you can bring it down. It's all you. It's all your attitude. It's definitely something I think I had to learn the hard way. But my biggest observation in work in consumer and in, I guess, in the corporate setting was when I worked for MAC Cosmetics, because that was a beautiful field of figuring out what attitude would do in terms of sales, co-worker relationships, when things got tough and stressed out. That was a very high stress related job, or what you can do to turn it around when you have positive attitude. And I think that that was one of the best things that I took away from MAC Cosmetics when I worked there, is to able to see how that actually works live. It was amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you my last one I want to show you here, which I think is great. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Oscar Wilde. I just love the models. It's almost like it's landscape, just the clavicle and the shoulder, and then the curvature of her back, and the position of her arm. It was just so, and then of course it was the radiance of the skin tone and all of that. Clearly I really, really, really like fashion and beauty. So you'll see me on Pinterest a lot, just posting like mad and showing things. I actually should share my Pinterest posts, just because we have a little time, and then I'm going to go ahead and sign up. We got a short call today for the top of the month, so let's go ahead. I'm going to share my Pinterest. And I'll also put these in the below footer too, so you guys can check it out. So that's the second one. All right, well, we had a really good short session today. I hope I answered some of your questions. And if you still have some questions, you can actually comment below this video, and I will most likely grab those and put them on the next call. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next call. And I believe it is in, just double check here before I leave you guys. Let's see, October. Okay, so for New Zealand and Australia, it's October 24th. For the US and London, Canada, it's on October 23rd. So if you look at the events page, you'll be able to actually use the calendar section to schedule it for you. You want to check out the next one. Next week, for the regular public viewing, we're actually doing our Google Hangout series, which is Six-Figure Secrets. So that's going to be really cool. We're going to talk a little bit more about how you can utilize a virtual team to really show and problem solve a lot of the things that you may even have in a workplace situation. It's not just for the entrepreneur, it's for everybody. And this sort of help, or what I call really brilliant VAs, can cost as little as $3 an hour. So if you can imagine somebody shaving off 20 hours of your work week, at $3 an hour. Isn't that worth it? And how can you do that? So we're going to be talking a little bit more about that next Friday in New Zealand and Australia, and Thursday in the States, Canada, and the UK. So thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to any of your questions that you have for the next AMP session. And for now, I'm signing off from New Zealand. Talk to you later.